Have you ever wondered why some people are able to transform the worst experiences in their lives into something powerful and inspiring? In this video, I will share with you 7 reflections that can completely change the way you see your past, wounds, and pain. These are not just nice ideas. They are practical tools that have helped thousands of people find real purpose in their most difficult experiences. If you are watching this video, you have probably gone through moments that left deep scars on your soul. Maybe you feel lost, not knowing how to move forward, or even questioning the meaning of everything you have experienced. But I have good news for you. Your wounds can become the source of your greatest strength and your life purpose. By the end of this video, you will discover how to transform your pain into power, your scars into wisdom, and your difficult experiences into a life mission that can touch and transform others. Stay with me until the end, because the last reflection may be exactly what you need to start this transformation today. Reflection 1. Accepting pain as part of the journey. The first fundamental reflection to transform wounds into purpose is to accept that pain is part of our human journey. Many people get stuck in a cycle of anger and denial when they go through difficult experiences. They spend enormous energy fighting against reality, asking why that happened to them as if the pain were an unfair punishment or a mistake of fate. But here's the truth that few want to hear. Pain is inevitable, but prolonged suffering is a choice. When you accept that difficult experiences are a natural part of life, you stop wasting energy fighting what's already happened and start directing that same energy towards something constructive. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine a person who has lost a loved one unexpectedly. They can spend years wondering why it happened, reliving that painful moment every day, harboring anger and bitterness. Or they can accept that loss, however painful, is part of the human experience and start asking themselves, how can I honor this person's memory? How can I use this experience to help others who are going through the same thing? Acceptance does not mean conformity or coldness. It means stopping fighting reality and starting to work with it. When you accept your wounds, you gain access to the transformative power that lies within every difficult experience. The benefits of this change in perspective are immediate. You feel a deep relief when you stop carrying the burden of anger. Your mind becomes clearer, and you can make constructive decisions. And most importantly, you make room for something new and meaningful to emerge from that experience. Reflection 2. Finding meaning in difficult experiences. The second reflection is about finding meaning in your most difficult experiences. Many people believe that the bad things that happen in life have no purpose, that they are just bad luck or cruel twists of fate. But when you start looking for meaning in even the most painful situations, your perspective changes completely. The problem that this reflection solves is the feeling of emptiness and meaninglessness that often accompanies traumatic experiences. Without meaning, pain seems pointless and hopeless. With meaning, the same pain can become the fuel for profound transformation. How can you apply this in practice? Start by asking yourself, what did this experience teach me about myself? What qualities did I develop as a result of going through this? How did this experience make me stronger, wiser, or more compassionate? Let me give you a real-life example. Someone who has gone through a serious illness may find that they have developed an inner strength they didn't know they had. They may have learned to value each day of their life in a way they never did before. They may have discovered the importance of true relationships. This process of finding meaning doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes a while to see the lessons an experience has taught you. But when you develop the habit of seeking meaning, your life takes on a whole new depth. The benefits are transformative. First, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as someone who grows through challenges. Second, you develop unique wisdom that you can share with others. Third, you find inner peace even in the midst of hardships, because you know there is a greater purpose in everything you experience. Reflection 3. using your own experience to help others. The third reflection is about using your own experience to help others who are going through the same thing you went through. This is one of the most powerful ways to turn wounds into purpose, because you take your deepest pain and turn it into healing for others. The problem that many people face is the feeling of isolation and misunderstanding when they are going through difficulties. They feel that no one really understands what they are going through, that their pain is unique and impossible to understand. But when someone who has been through the same thing reaches out to help, it changes everything. I'll show you how to apply this in practice. Think about your most difficult experience. Now imagine someone who is going through exactly the same thing you went through. What advice would you give them? What words of encouragement would you offer? What mistake would you help them avoid? What hope would you share? A practical example would be someone who has overcome an addiction. This person has a deep understanding of the struggles that other addicts face. They know exactly what it feels like to be at rock bottom, but they also know that recovery is possible. When they share their story and offer support, they are not only helping others, they are giving purpose to their own recovery journey. You can do this in many ways. It can be through informal conversations with friends and family. It can be by joining support groups. It can be by sharing your story on social media. It can be by writing about your experience. The important thing is to realize that your wound can become a source of healing for others. The benefits of this attitude are multiple. You feel useful and valued because you are making a difference in other people's lives. You strengthen your own healing because by helping others, you reaffirm your own overcoming, and you create deep and meaningful connections with people who truly understand your journey. If you are enjoying this content and it makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the next videos. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching this video from? I read all the comments and I'm very happy to know that people from all over the world are connecting with these reflections. Reflection 4. Developing compassion through one's own pain. The fourth reflection is about developing genuine compassion through your own pain. Many people think that going through difficult experiences makes them more bitter or suspicious. But in fact, when you process your wounds in a healthy way, they can become an endless source of compassion for others. The problem is that when we are in the midst of grief, it is natural to focus only on our own suffering. This can make us feel isolated and misunderstood. But when you realize that your pain connects you to the universal pain of humanity, everything changes. You understand that all human beings suffer, each in their own way, and this awakens a deep compassion. How can this be applied in practice? Start by noting how your experience of grief has made you more sensitive to the suffering of others. For example, someone who has experienced a significant loss often develops a special ability to understand and comfort others who are grieving. Someone who has faced financial hardship understands the anguish of those who are struggling with money. Let me give you a concrete example. A person who was bullied as a child can use that painful experience to become someone who defends the weak, who notices when someone is being excluded or mistreated, and who acts to protect them. Their wound becomes a special antenna for detecting the suffering of others. This compassion developed through pain is different from superficial pity. It is a deep, visceral understanding of what it means to suffer. It is the ability to look into the eyes of someone who is struggling and say with complete sincerity, "I understand. I have been there. You are not alone." The benefits of this transformation are extraordinary. First, you become a more loving and connected person with others. Second, you find purpose in your most difficult experiences because they have empowered you to help in a unique way. Third, you develop deeper and more meaningful relationships because people feel that you truly understand them. Reflection 5. Transforming vulnerability into strength. The fifth reflection is about transforming your vulnerability into strength. Society teaches us that vulnerability is weakness, that we should hide our wounds and pretend we are invincible. But the truth is exactly the opposite. When you embrace your vulnerability and transform it into authenticity, you become much stronger and more influential. The problem many people face is the fear of showing their imperfections and scars. They believe that if people know about their weaknesses and difficulties, they will lose respect or reject them. So they build perfect masks and live in constant fear that someone will find out who they really are behind the facade. But here's the secret. People connect with vulnerability, not perfection. When you have the courage to be authentic about your struggles and hurts, you give others permission to be authentic too. You create a safe space where real connections can happen. I'll show you how to apply this in practice. Instead of hiding your difficult experiences, start sharing them in appropriate ways and at the right times. It's not about exposing your entire life to anyone, but about being honest about your journey when it might help someone or create a genuine connection. For example, a leader who shares how he overcame a business failure does not lose credibility. On the contrary, he gains respect and admiration. People come to see him as a real person who knows both success and failure and who has the wisdom to deal with both. Your vulnerability becomes strength when you show that it is possible to go through difficult things and still emerge with hope, wisdom, and purpose. You become a living example that wounds can heal and that it is possible to rebuild a meaningful life after any tragedy. The direct benefits of this shift are impressive. You free yourself from the burden of maintaining a perfect facade. You attract genuine people who connect with your authenticity. You become a source of hope and inspiration to others who are going through similar struggles. Most importantly, you find inner peace by fully embracing who you are, including your imperfections and scars. Reflection. 6. Creating meaning through service to others. The sixth reflection is about creating meaning through service to others. When you direct your energy and experience towards serving others, especially those who are going through similar situations to those you have faced, you transform your wounds into a powerful and meaningful life mission. The problem that many people face after going through traumatic experiences is the feeling that life has lost its meaning. They wonder what all the pain was for, why they had to go through it. What is the purpose of continuing to live after so much hardship? This lack of meaning can lead to depression, isolation, and hopelessness. But when you find a way to use your experience to serve others, everything changes. Your pain becomes purposeful. Your wounds become unique qualifications to help specific people. Your story becomes a source of hope and guidance for those embarking on the same journey you've taken. How can you apply this to your life? Start by identifying specific ways you can help people who are going through what you've been through. If you've overcome an illness, you could visit hospitals or join support groups. If you've recovered from an addiction, you could mentor people in recovery. If you've overcome financial hardship, you could teach financial literacy to people just starting out. Let me give you a touching example. A person who has lost a child may decide to help other families who are going through the same grief. They may create a support group, write about their experience, or simply be there to lend a shoulder to cry on during difficult times. Their greatest pain becomes their greatest contribution to the world. Serving others doesn't have to be grand or formal. It can be as simple as being available for a conversation when someone needs it, or sharing a word of encouragement at the right time. The important thing is to realize that your experience has value and can make a difference in the lives of others. The benefits of this attitude are profound and lasting. You find a clear purpose for your life and your experiences. You feel that your pain was not in vain, but served to empower you to help others. You develop a sense of contribution and personal worth, and you create a positive legacy that can impact future generations. Reflection. 7. Finding gratitude for the entire journey. The seventh reflection is about finding gratitude for the entire journey, including the hardest and most painful parts. This may be the most challenging reflection of all, but it is also the most transformative. When you can feel genuine gratitude for your entire journey, including its wounds and scars, you reach a level of peace and purpose that few experience. The problem is that most people live with resentment over bad things that have happened in their lives. They get stuck in the past, dwelling on old hurts, wishing things had been different. This resentment is like a poison that contaminates the present and prevents them from living fully. But when you develop the capacity to be grateful for your entire journey, you free yourself from this poison. You stop seeing difficult experiences as mistakes of fate and start seeing them as essential parts of your development as a person. You recognize that without those experiences, you would not be who you are today. How can you apply this in practice? Start by doing a deep reflection exercise. Think about the most difficult experiences in your life and try to identify how each one helped shape you in a positive way. What qualities did you develop? What lessons did you learn? How did these experiences prepare you to help others or face future challenges? Let me give you a powerful example. A person who has been through an abusive relationship may, years later, feel grateful for that terrible experience. Not because the abuse was good, but because it taught them to value healthy relationships, to set boundaries, to recognize danger signs, and to have compassion for others going through similar situations. Gratitude for the journey as a whole doesn't mean you're happy about the hard times or wishing they could happen again. It means you recognize the formative value of those experiences and are grateful for the person they've made you into. This is a reflection that can take time to fully develop. It is a gradual process of healing and growth. But when you can look back and honestly say that you are grateful for your entire journey, you will find deep peace and a clear purpose for your life. The benefits of this transformation are extraordinary. You free yourself from the burden of the past and live fully in the present. You develop a deep wisdom that you can share with others. You find inner peace even in the midst of current difficulties, because you know that even they have a purpose, and you become a source of hope and inspiration for anyone going through difficult times. Reflection 8. Creating a legacy of overcoming. The 8th reflection is about creating a legacy of resilience that can inspire and guide others for generations to come. When you turn your wounds into purpose, you are not only healing yourself, you are creating something that can positively impact the lives of countless people, including those you don't even know. The problem many people face is the feeling that their lives have no lasting significance. They go through difficult experiences, recover, and then go on living as if nothing had happened. They don't realize the transformative power of their stories of overcoming hardship and the impact these stories can have on the lives of others. But when you consciously decide to create a legacy of overcoming, you give new meaning to all your experiences. Your journey of pain and healing becomes a source of hope for those who are just beginning to walk the same path. Your story becomes a beacon of light for those navigating the darkness. How can you apply this in practice? Start by documenting your journey in a way that can be shared with others. This could be through conversations with family and friends, writing about your experience, recording videos, or any other way to preserve and share your story of overcoming adversity. Let me give you an inspiring example. A person who has overcome a serious illness may decide to start a blog where they share their journey of treatment and recovery. Years later, hundreds of people who are facing the same illness find hope and guidance through that story. What started as a painful personal experience has become a source of healing for many others. Your legacy of resilience doesn't have to be something public or grand. It can be as simple as creating a family environment where it's safe to talk about hardship and resilience. It can be teaching your children or grandchildren how to face adversity with courage and hope. It can be being that person in your community that others turn to when they are going through tough times. The important thing is to realize that your journey has value beyond yourself. Your experiences of pain and healing can become powerful tools to help others find their own path to healing. The direct benefits of this perspective are transformative. You find greater and more lasting meaning in your difficult experiences. You feel connected to something bigger than yourself, You develop a sense of positive accountability for your experiences, and you create something that can continue to make a difference in people's lives long after you're gone. Reflection 9. Developing wisdom through experience. The 9th reflection is about developing genuine wisdom through your experiences of pain and overcoming. Wisdom is not just theoretical knowledge, it is deep understanding that comes from actually experiencing the ups and downs of life. Your wounds can become a unique source of wisdom that cannot be acquired in any other way. The problem is that many people go through difficult experiences but fail to draw on the wisdom they offer. They get stuck in the pain or anger, not realizing the profound lessons they can learn. Or they bounce back from the hardships but fail to reflect on what they learned in the process, missing the opportunity to transform that experience into lasting wisdom. But when you consciously dedicate yourself to extracting wisdom from your experiences, you turn every hardship into an opportunity for growth. You develop a deeper understanding of human nature, of life, of how to deal with adversity, of what really matters in life. How can I apply this in practice? After going through a difficult experience, take some time for deep reflection. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me about myself, about others, about life? What principles did I discover that can guide me in the future? How can I apply these lessons to other areas of my life? Let me give you a concrete example. Someone who has experienced betrayal can develop special wisdom about human relationships. They can learn how to identify signs of character in people, the importance of honest communication, the value of trust, and how to rebuild healthy relationships after a traumatic experience. The wisdom that comes from difficult experiences is different from academic knowledge. It is a visceral understanding tested in practice, tempered by pain, and purified by overcoming. It is the kind of wisdom that resonates deeply when you share it with others, because it comes from a place of lived truth. This wisdom becomes part of your life purpose when you use it to guide and inspire others. You become someone who has not only overcome hardships, but who has learned valuable lessons that can help others navigate similar challenges more consciously and effectively. The benefits of this approach are long-lasting and transformative. You develop an emotional and spiritual maturity that few others possess. You become a more balanced and centered person, able to face new challenges with greater serenity. You gain respect and admiration from those around you who recognize your genuine wisdom. And you find deep satisfaction in knowing that your most difficult experiences have become a source of guidance and light for your life and the lives of others. Reflection 10. Embracing the ongoing journey of transformation. The 10th and final reflection is about embracing the ongoing journey of transformation that never truly ends. Transforming wounds into purpose is not a once-in-a-lifetime event. It is an ongoing process of growth, healing, and discovery that can last a lifetime. The problem many people face is thinking that once they have overcome a challenge or found purpose in a painful experience, the work is done. They believe that they have reached a final point, that they are now healed forever and no longer need to worry about personal growth or transformation. But the truth is that life continues to bring new challenges, new opportunities for growth, new layers of healing that need to happen. Each phase of life can reveal different aspects of the same old wounds, or it can bring completely new wounds that need to be processed and transformed into purpose. How can this be applied in practice? Develop a perpetual learner mindset about your life experiences. Always be open to discovering new layers of meaning in your past experiences. Allow yourself to continue growing and transforming, even when you think you've fully processed a difficult situation. Let me give you an illuminating example. A person who has overcome the loss of a loved one may think that they have completely processed the grief, but years later, they may discover new dimensions to that experience, new ways of honoring the memory of their loved one, new ways of using that experience to help others. The transformation continues to happen in ever-deepening spirals, Embracing the ongoing journey means accepting that you will always be, in some way, a work in progress. This is not a weakness. It is a natural characteristic of human growth. Each new experience, good or bad, offers opportunities to expand your understanding, deepen your compassion, and refine your life purpose. This perspective also means being open to helping others who are at different stages of the same journey you've been on. You may find that you have something valuable to offer both those who are just beginning to struggle and those who are in more advanced stages of recovery. The benefits of this mindset are liberating and energizing. You remove the pressure of having to be perfectly healed or completely resolved. You maintain the curiosity and openness that are essential for continued growth. You become more patient with yourself and others who are in the process of healing, and you keep alive the possibility that your past experiences may yet reveal new treasures of wisdom and purpose in the future. These 10 reflections are a roadmap for transforming your deepest wounds into your most powerful purpose. Remember that this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that requires patience, self-compassion, and the courage to face both the pain and the possibility of healing. Your wounds don't define you, but they can become the source of your greatest contribution to the world. Every scar can be transformed into wisdom. Every painful experience can become a bridge to help others. Every moment of suffering overcome can become shared hope. The world needs your story of overcoming obstacles. People who are going through exactly what you have been through are looking for someone who understands their pain and can show them that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Your journey of transformation could be exactly the inspiration someone needs to not give up. So I challenge you, look at your wounds not as marks of defeat, but as seeds of purpose. Start planting those seeds today through one of these reflections. Choose the one that touches your heart the most and take the first step toward transforming your pain into power. Which of these reflections made the most sense to you? What wound in your life are you ready to transform into purpose? Share your reflection in the comments, because your courage to open up may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.